So, in regards to the fan backlash
Epilogue
of the Dexter finale, we had some words, we had some thoughts. I guess I shouldn't be so surprised because there's always going to be folks who either love or hate the show in general, and this episode was no different.
Yeah. A lot of people are wrapped up on little things. I think a lot of the backlash, if I had to guess, comes from the desire to not have Dexter die because you just want it to live forever, like Jason or Freddy or Chucky. That, yeah, you can kill them off in the end, but they better come back because they're the hero. You don't watch Jason for the camp kids. You watch Jason for the murderer. So, I think that's where it comes from. People just immediately saying, you can't kill him because that means it's over, I think is almost a fandom temper tantrum, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I don't know if it's maybe age disparity, a difference, but I think storytelling does not have to have a happy ending or an ending that you fantasy booked.
Yeah, there's a difference between not what I wanted and it being bad. Just because I don't want Dexter to die doesn't mean that Dexter dying is bad or a terrible maneuver. It was done fantastically and perfectly. It's not what I wanted. I didn't want Dexter to die. But when he dies, you go, oh, I guess the way he died means something. It definitely means something, you know?
Yeah, I kind of, looking at all this backlash, I thought immediately of 6 Feet Under, right? If anyone who's seen that series knows that it doesn't have a happy ending in the sense that you see everyone's death, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has an ending, and that was the whole, a big part of that show. It's all about death, right? So knowing that you're not going to like the end because there is an end. There's an end to everything. That's the point. Flashbacking to this, I just think you're not you're not going to like it because there's an end. But also, what is what is the ending that you would have wanted for Dexter to get away with it as the hero? I mean, the hero was a fantasy. It had always been his fantasy. But at the end of the day, he was willing to break his own code, right? He had even done it in original Dexter, where he accidentally killed an innocent, the photographer, right? Who was not a murderer. So he's broken the code before. Now, even more so, he'll do it at any cost, when it comes to his son. So he understands that this cannot continue because, as he said, his son doesn't deserve this. And also the flashbacks when Harrison asks, would my mom have been alive if it weren't for you? He immediately flashed back to all the innocent people who had died because of him. Not directly, but indirectly, right? Just because of his actions.
Well, he was going to kill LaGuardia, and then he wasn't able to. And then when Deb came in, Dex more or less put her in a position where she had to do it for him. So
yes.
Did he or did he not kill her?
Right.
Was such a technicality.
Right. And those are all technicalities, but at the end of the day, I mean, he put them in positions of danger, right? I mean, obviously, yeah, Deb did not want to kill LaGuardia. Dokes, had he not gotten wrapped up in that, if it weren't for his his girlfriend at the time going after him, whatever, he still wouldn't have died that way, right? So just the fact that all these innocent people die because of Dexter, he can't deny that. He knows that. He knows that deep down.
Yeah,
right?
And basically he had to face that, right? And what are the alternatives here? Because people didn't like the original one, and I think largely not because it was done poorly, but because there was still something left on the table. Mm-hmm. Dexter wasn't dead. If he had died, people would have preferred it. I remember hearing people at the time saying they wish that he had just died in the ocean because at least it would have been a finale, right? This left something on the table in the original. Well, this is what it left on the table to do. He still had to face his transgressions. He had to face them. So
Right.
we saw people even saying, why couldn't he just go to death row and then live on death row forever? Like, are you out of your mind? That's not even facing it, because here's the deal.
Right.
Dexter saw himself as justice. What I do is justice. When justice isn't served, I serve it. He saw himself as not only bigger than the justice system, but more important than it, because he wouldn't fail it, and the justice system failed over and over again. If he's staring down the face of justice through the justice system, he's not going to feel remorse. He's not going to go through there and think, oh, this is me finally getting what I had coming. It's, no, the stupid system that I'm better than has me trapped for now, and I'm going to get out of it.
Yeah.
This was a moment where he had to face it, and he faced it in the eyes of his son, the only person he's ever cared for, truly loved. This was the only way he could face it, was by being put down in the face of the only human emotion, which is the only thing he'd been fighting for and searching for in the entirety of the first 8 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he had also said it at times, maybe I deserve this. Like, he's said so many times, how he does it. Monsters don't get to be happy, right? And it was so clear in the letter that he wrote to Hannah, let me die alone. Like, they're so clearly telling you that he understands he's not good for people as Dexter. He even told Angela Dexter was cursed, right? To have Dexter come back, he knows that he's cursed in a sense, because he can't help but hurt everyone around him who he loves, or who loves him, I should say.
Yeah, and he was trying to punish himself. So going to prison, would that truly punish him? No, not at all. This is the only punishment that was fitting for him, by him. Coaching his son into put me down, because I won't stop. And he knows that.
Yeah, and he knows that if he can break his own code, the code that he so desperately tries to live and die by, like he knows if he can break that so easily, then how is he good, right? Mm-hmm. And in Iron Lake, even towards the end of the episode, I think it actually might have been the beginning or middle. He looks around and he sees the town folk. He's like, oh, this pastor, you've got the town, coach, whatever. These are all good people. Mm-hmm. They do a slow pan, and it's like you can sense that he's telling himself, if I just surround myself with good people, I will be good. Mm-hmm. He's so urgently wants that. He wants to be good, right? He wants to be good for his son, and he can't remedy it.
He can't. So much so that he killed a good person for no other reason than to be near his son.
Yeah, I saw one person tweet, oh man, why do you have to kill Logan? And it's like, because that's exactly the whole point, that he should not have killed Logan. His code should have protected Logan. Mm-hmm. That is why Logan died. To show you even more so, he is not to be trusted. He can't be trusted with himself.
Yeah. Yeah, without Logan dying, it doesn't get much further. Logan has to die for... He's the example of, he will kill good in the face of good just because of his own self-interest. He has gone past the code. He's no longer living by the code. Yeah,
and so I hope that fans do give it another chance, like maybe watch it again, or I just hope that folks can think about it on a deeper level, other than, oh, my favorite died, because it was so much more than that. Like, it was done so well, and it had to come to an end. Like, not everything lasts forever, like a horror franchise. He's not a Chucky, he's not a Jason, he's not these icons that we think, oh, they're just going to make a new series, it's going to be a new whatever. Like, yeah. Not all stories go on forever or until they're forced to end. Yeah. And I think this one really finally closed this chapter. Like, it just felt right, because it felt like closure, the end of a story. Not a story you wanted, right? Not how you wanted it to end, right? But it had to end. It had to end.
Yeah, just because it's, quote, not how I would do it or not what I wanted doesn't make it not good. It was beautifully done. It was done perfectly. I probably was not choices I would make, but I'm not the one making them to begin with, and who the hell am I to begin with? So anybody who's trying to give it... We saw people saying there was lazy writing, and I was like, the fuck have you written? And I will say, I'm not one of the people who thinks that you cannot critique art if you are not an artist. I don't believe that's true. I think absolutely art is in the eye of the beholder, artist or otherwise. So you absolutely can critique art, and that's kind of what we're doing here, just having fun with it.
Yeah.
Not taking it too seriously, but we're critiquing it here and there, little things. But I wouldn't for a second call any of these writers lazy. I wouldn't say any of it was hyper rushed. I said that about one episode specifically where it felt like we got through a lot real fast. But overall, the series was not rushed. A lot of people were complaining and would not get off the ketamine thing.
Yeah.
Right? So Dexter was using ketamine in Iron Lake because it's all he had because of the animals. But when he was in Miami, he was using M99. That is a huge thing. And I will give him that the idea that she searched ketamine and found Bay Harbor Butcher was a bit of a stretch. But at the same time, none of the stuff she searched, police-wise, mentioned ketamine. Those were like those, I don't want to call them dirt sheets, but like these podcast fan
horror.
Yeah. Those kinds of like...
serial killer fan.
Yeah, like fan-based things where they had... like, because if you look at all the links when she does a search, none of them are Miami Metro Police. They're all like Bay Harbor Butcher, serial killer, wiki, and like a bunch of just weird, looking like they're podcast people speculating. Yeah. So people are speculating, oh, you could do this with ketamine or something like that. So I'll give you the M99 to ketamine leap was a bit. Especially when she connected it to Bay Harbor Butcher so straight away.
Well, but that was... I mean, I also credit that to Molly. Molly's the one that really got in her head when she started thinking about the podcast and the little things that Molly would say around her. Well, at least he's not my... if he was your boyfriend, then I'm sure he's not dangerous. Little nuggets she threw in there to make her think maybe podcasters have an idea. And also, this is someone who doesn't have many resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd also say that people were overly critical of the idea that Angela, a small-town police officer, was able to connect him to Bay Harbor Butcher, where Miami Metro could not. And I would say a huge leap that people are not taking there is that the first piece of evidence she had was this man faked his own death and ran away.
Yeah.
That's major.
Yeah.
Miami Metro never had that. They never had the faked your death and just resurfaced in the woods.
Yeah. They had a consistent employee.
Yeah. So tracking him down that way would have been way, way different. This is, why would someone hide? Yes. Why would someone fake their own death? Maybe to get away from something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like there was a lot more she had meat on that she could connect just based off that fact alone that people are neglecting.
Yeah, I mean, and even the Dexter Daily poll, they've got 41 right now. It's almost 42% saying that this last finale was awful. Meanwhile, there's 15.75% saying it's awesome. So, I apparently were in the minority, but I wonder if that has to do with difference in age. Like, I'm not sure, or, just how we see stories. But from our perspective, this story was just so well done, so beautifully put together. Tragic, definitely a tragedy, but to say that anyone here was lazy was, I think, so far wrong. And I just hope that everyone that had a hand in this project does get to know that there's a huge chunk of us still out there who absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I will say that texting a number of my friends who were obsessed with the first series, the friends I had who even made me watch it to begin with, they're all in love with how this ended.
Oh, good. Okay.
I don't know anyone upset with it at this point, except for people online.
Okay, so yeah, maybe it's just the online community, but all right. I wonder if it's like an age thing, but We had the patience to really see it through. We kind of appreciate that, like we said in the very beginning, Dexter was not the same character as he was 10 years ago. Because are you the same person you were 10 years ago? Like, people change. There are evolving characters. And I think maybe a lot of fans weren't ready for that. Yeah. But we I guess maybe came from a place of like, yeah, this has to be different. This cannot be the same, because that's not mirroring reality. And maybe people just wanted more of a fantasy, I think.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in this week. And I'm hopeful that there will be a Harrison spinoff. I know there's kind of some squabbles online on the online community saying, oh, well, if they have a spinoff, I'm not going to watch it, whatever. But I think if you're a true fan, if you can appreciate what they've done with this whole series, just the development of all the characters of the storyline, then maybe you'll give it a chance if that's the route they go. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll say I'm 50-50 on that personally, if I'm being honest. The idea of a Harrison spinoff initially sounded cool. At this point, Harrison killed Dexter out of like a supreme goodness. Like, I don't see how you could weasel a Harrison character that goes on some sort of murder spree, except for some hyper vigilante. Like, he would have to be a true vigilante where Dexter thought he was a vigilante. You know what I mean? Like,
he'd be the true Dark Defender.
Yeah. That kind of concept would take a few twists and turns to get there, but I would give it a shot for sure. I'm not refusing it, but I do think the way they ended it in such a way where I don't need it. Yeah. I don't feel like there's meat on the bone right here. I feel like if you want to revisit it, I would be curious, but I'm not holding my breath on it or needing it or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I don't feel it necessary. I thought that the end was perfect in the last letter of love, really, to Hannah about his son. I just thought, like, yeah, it's I don't need to know what happens with Harrison, but if that's the way they go, like, I'm all for it. But yeah, I loved it. I couldn't say enough good things about it.
Yeah.
For true fans. If you're interested, I know that Tuesday there's going to be Michael C. Hall and Jack Alcott on the Dexter New Blood wrap up with Scott Reynolds. So if you're super interested in listening to, what really was going on with that finale from the people in it, check that out, because that's going to be dope.
Yeah.
So thanks for sticking around. Let us know what you thought.
Absolutely. Join the conversation at WOTR The Show. I'm at Ref Marsh.
It's Michelle.
Thanks for killing it with us this whole time.
Later.